what does, whether you're an insurance carrier, you're a wholesaler, you're a retail agent with 10 employees, or you're a retailer with 100 offices across the country, paint the picture of what that healthy ecosystem looks like.
So the first thing, which, it's so cliche, because it's like you have to have a really good website. And if we walk in and tell you need to redo your website, you need to listen to us, because we do not enjoy, those are not fun projects. You have to rework the whole thing, whatever. But you need a good website, and you need a good website because it's typically the last place that the potential buyer is going to come to. But if that doesn't function well, none of the rest of the ecosystem is going to work well.
And it's the core of your messaging.
Core messaging.
It backs up everything else.
And it needs to be structured in a way that it's good for the Googles and technology and all that kind of stuff, because we see so often people are doing things that are just getting in the way of their success and their results. So we think about the website first, but we also know it's the last place someone goes.
Right.
So it's like you got to build the house first, right? And then you start to create that content ring. And what we run into is people think that, oh, I created the content ring and now I'm done. Sorry, you got to continue.
Not even close.
Not even close. You got to keep feeding the beast, because everyone's looking for currency. Like, are you up to date? That can take away from your authority if someone reads something and it's from several years ago and it's not even true anymore. So establishing content and making sure that content plays into the keywords and the kind of traffic you're trying to drive. Mm-hmm. And then you get on the outer ring, which is the stuff that people often want to start with, which is
fun stuff.
It's the fun stuff, like social media and SEO. And that social media and SEO really should be driven through the content ring that then drives people to the website. And so using SEO and social media, and the difference is, do people actively search for the thing that I'm providing? That's SEO. Or do they need to hear about it because they don't know about it? That's where you're going to get into social, and you can add ads and interruption, things like that. So those are the big three. And that's where we look first, is the ecosystem healthy? Do we have a healthy ecosystem to even support just
cohesive branding throughout, same talk track, story, the messaging is solid there.
Yeah. And we've, even looking at how are things being done, you should be able to look at a social media profile, go into Instagram and look at all the posts and say, oh, I know those are all coming from the same company. Is that consistent? Mm-hmm. And so that's 101. Those are the 3 101s.
Yeah, and then adding on top of that, paid ads and earned media to really amplify that messaging. Once your core is solid and you know who you are and how you're showing up and who your audience is and what they're responding to, adding in those amplification efforts is, hugely impactful.
The way I think about it is, I love restaurants. It's probably where I spend all of my disposable income beyond travel. And so when we live in an area that has a lot of great restaurants, but on a Friday night, I'll go look up an Open Table or Resy because I'm not waiting. And I'm like, hey, and you'll find a new restaurant, and they've gotten great, the news has talked about them, whatever. So that's all that outer stuff. But then you show up at the restaurant and it's terrible. They haven't done the tables right, the whatever. That's fixing that middle piece. So people like the fun stuff on the outer rings, and we do need to make sure the first pieces are working, because once we're driving people to those assets, they're not going to work effectively unless we've taken the time to build the base.
It's much less sexy, but the most important component.
Yeah.
And once you build it, you maintain it, and that's the thing.
And you optimize.
Maintain
constantly.
and optimize. Mm-hmm.